Hi, welcome to another installment of Before You Get Married. Now, the reason why we started this ministry is we see a lot of marriages, of people that talk about getting married when you get saved. And you want to get married because you don't want to live a life by yourself. You're trying to do it the right way. Well, we want to show you some things that you want to get right before you get married. Okay? So, that just brings us into what our topic is today. Our topic today is marriage and ministry. Marriage and ministry. Now, married and ministry. Ministry holds an importance like you never would understand until you actually get into it. Now, I think it's people will understand that there is a difference between men being in ministry and just being going to church. See, sometimes people they just go to church. You get saved one day, and you go to church on Sundays. You go to church on Wednesday, and you good. Now that right there in itself holds particular settings. If you're just an average churchgoer, I don't know how serious you are about God in your life, or how to heart you take the things that you profess to do. I'm a Christian. So the Bible says a Christian is a person that walks Christ-like. So before you would have gotten married, you would be walking consistently as a Christian. What does that mean? That means that you're not going out clubbing anymore. That means that you're not drinking and smoking anymore. That means that you're going to church, paying your tithes and offerings on a regular basis. That means that you have a fixed mind to see God. You set aside time daily to pray, to worship, to meditate and read the Word of God. Now that in itself is just a person I say that actually just go to church and have made it their mind that they want to be saved. Those practices that I just named, that whole list of stuff, praying, going to church, Bible studies, and going to whatever, doing whatever church related stuff that you have to do on a weekly basis, that's just average stuff. That's not stuff that I would say, makes you that's just average. No, I expect you, God expects you as your reasonable service to be at church on Sundays, if that's the church you go to. God expects you to read your word and pray and daily. He expects you to worship. He expects you to fast at times. He expects, these are things, these are regular things. These are not anything above walking into ministry. This is not even, I don't even call that walking in ministry. It's called, that right there is just being saved. Trying to keep you saved from day to day. That's all that is. They say the Ten Commandments. Well, I pushed out the Ten Commandments because the Ten Commandments, you can be on the Ten Commandments and still sin. And to be a Christian, anytime you sin, the wages of sin are death. It is not a big sin or small sin. It's sin, period. And you can walk in the Ten Commandments and still sin. Unfortunately, the Ten Commandments, they couldn't make it 1,000 commandments. Because some of us need that many, but 10 commandments, you can still sin and walk in the 10 commandments. And it's crazy. Why? Well, back then they didn't have a lot of stuff they have right now. So if you're just going to church, you're just a church member, that type of thing, that's one thing. Getting a wife that's for a church member, I think the one biggest thing is that they're committed to God, as committed to God as you are. That's really the biggest key for a person that's just, an average churchgoer. Someone that's just going to church, just trying to keep themselves saved. That right there, the biggest key for that is to have someone that's on one accord with you, that has the same faith as you have, that believes the same way you have, that has the same principles as far as reading and praying and things like that. The reason why I say that is that if you ever see a Muslim and a Christian, and they try to get married, and their ideologies are so different, they have a lot of problems. Someone has to change. Someone has to change. You can't put two. It's like they push each other away because certain things that are allowed and not allowed in ministry, as far as Christian theology, are allowed in a Muslim setting. You know, I don't know all the things that Muslims can and can't do. not my forte. But the basic thing is to believe that when you get, if you're not the same faith, having two opposite faiths come together, unless one is planning on changing, is going to cause a lot of frictions. Uh, he may not want to go to my mosque. I mean, I may not want to go to his mosque, her mosque. You know, I don't want to go to her mosque. I want to go to church, and I want to do some jumping, shouting, and clapping. He may not want to come to yours. He don't want to go there and sit for 5 hours while somebody preach at him about something he don't even care about. You know, that in itself is a fight. So if you're just an average Christian, a person going to church, just trying to live day by day, not planning on doing anything extra, just not trying to save nobody else, just trying to keep your head up above water so you making it, then the biggest thing that you guys have to worry about is if the person who you're marrying has the amount of faith that you have. See, that's the key. If they don't have the faith that you have going into the marriage, then what's going to happen is you're going to be fighting about going to church all the time, or being at church so long, or being involved in these different organizations, if that may be you, in the church. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, marriage and ministry to me, or ministry and marriage to me, will be ministry. See, people don't understand that marriage is your first ministry. I'm gonna say that again. Marriage is your first ministry. So if you're a minister, if you're seeking to be something more than just an average Christian, if you believe God has called you to do more than just go to church 3 times a week and be part of this auxiliary, if you're going to church believing in your spirit that God has something more in you for ministry of your own, or ministry to become a leader in ministry, then that's where the keys come in. Because the person that you're marrying has to be able to deal with your schedule. Me, with the job that I have, I work 8 hours a day. I'm home by 6. By 6 o'clock at night, by 7 o'clock at night, I'm usually on the phone with somebody about something, trying to help them. If I'm not on the phone, I'm editing, or I'm making a DVD to help somebody else. When I'm not doing that, I might be out at a church giving a seminar. I might be out at a church visiting with a friend because they invited me out and they want somebody to support, because we do that here also. What you have to understand is that it takes on a unique animal when you become a leader. Women see leadership as power. So women outside of your wife will be attracted to you. You may not even realize it. You have to be, your wife has to be aware of those things. You may have to minister to people that she don't even like, but that's part of your job. You understand what I mean? So when you bring ministry and marriage together, you have to understand it's a difference between just going to church and having an actual ministry. And when you have a ministry, and I find this to be the key for us, when you have a ministry, you have to talk all the time. You have to talk about everything. You have to talk, and when you're not talking, you're praying. You're praying about everything. Everything. If I get a phone call, and this is no lie, if I get a phone call and I'm not there to answer the phone, my wife is like, somebody called you, are you answering the phone? It's Sunday. I don't feel like answering the phone. Now I got to explain why I'm not answering the phone. Or if somebody called and I don't have a number of it, my wife picks up my phone and, whose number is this? I don't know. Let's call him back. But you have to be open with her. You have to be, and you have to be open with him. When you're going to a meeting, if I'm going to a meeting or about to have a meeting, I let my wife know way ahead of time. Babe, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I need to do this and I need to do that. If I'm doing videos or if I'm doing editing or whatever, because I don't do them in the room with her, or whatever I'm doing. Babe, on Saturday I got this to do. On Monday I have it's like an itinerary, and she has to be open for that itinerary consistently. Now, also, being married in ministry, I know that God gave her to me as a helpmate. So when she tells me something, and she's a praying woman, she's a praying woman, she's a prophetess, and so when we're together, and I tell her, okay, I got to go do this. If by the time I'm going to do that, she'll tell me something. She'll warn me. She'll give me some direction if necessary, and I try to do my best to take heed in what she's saying, if no more than just to set it in and say, okay, I got you, God. I'm going to go ahead and do this, but I got what you're saying. Watch out for this and watch out for that. You understand? Because remember, even though it may not be her ministry, I'm first in her heart. So my ministry to her is me. See, my ministry to her is me. See, she ministers to my spirit, man, to help me do what I need to do. And that's what your mate is there for, to help minister to you. Because when everything's said and done, when you don't have money for the rent, when you don't have money for the car payments, when you don't have money for the building, when you don't have this or you don't have that, when nobody's there to help you out, when you got to go set up, she's there. Marriage and ministry. You may be the man, but she's the woman. You may be the head, but she's the neck. And you have to realize that God put y'all together. If y'all got together in marriage, if y'all came together to this point where you're trying to do a ministry, then remember that she was put there for a reason, not just eye candy. Her voice counts. Her spirit counts. You have to understand, you have to realize that she, even though her name isn't up on the billboard, it's just yours, she's just as much involved in that ministry as you are. Because she's the one she's left alone when you're out there doing all the preaching and getting all the accolades and people are clapping and jumping and shouting and you laying hands. She's right there in the back praying for you. You have to keep that she is part of the ministry. She may not want to do anything in your ministry at all, but she's still part of that ministry because she's still praying for you. Okay? Marriage and ministry. Ministry has its ups and downs. He or she will be with you throughout it all. Remember, don't forget about them. Don't leave them behind. Keep them beside you. Keep them close. Keep them tight. Because when everything's said and done, when everything's over, she's the one or he's the one that's going to be there with you at the end. Believe me, marriage and ministry together, it's not easy, but it's worth it. Anytime you put God in the mix, it's all worth it. Again, thank you for coming out to join me for another installment of Before You Get Married. This series is created just for the people that are about to get married. You're about to get married. You're thinking about it. Your mind is on marriage. You love this person. You have to be sure. I don't want you to have to go through all the stuff that we had to go through before we got to this place. So if you're prepared before you get married, when you get married, it's going to be a lot easier for you. Okay? You have a great day. Remember, leave me a message. Call me on the phone. Leave me a message. Shoot me an email at a.j.minitries@gmail.com. Come by our website. It's Apostles of Jesus. It's a.j.minitries HOP.org. That's House of Praise. Come by, leave us a message, check out some of the videos, check out some of the stuff we have on site, online. If you need our help, if you want us to come out to your church and do a conference, if you want one of my ministers to come out there and minister to your women, we have the women's ministry. If you want our prophetess to come out there, one of our ministers to come out there to your church and do something, let us know. Leave us a message. We're here to help. We are not an island unto ourselves. We're here to help churches grow bigger because we all come together at the end. There's only one church, one baptism, and one God we serve. I want to thank you again. Leave a message, leave a comment, like and subscribe. See you next time on Before You Get Married.